From our studios in Scottsdale, Arizona, this is Retirement News Online, and today we're talking teacher retirement. Teachers spend their careers shaping the next generation, but when it comes to retirement, many realize their own financial lessons really are just beginning. With pension changes, uncertain Social Security benefits, and rising costs, educators need more than information. They actually need a plan, which is why we're talking with Andrew Kerper with Teacher Prep. Andrew, you come from a teacher background.
I do.
You're one of them.
I am one of them.
And you can't stop. You still teach. You coach golf. You coach choir. You're a man for all seasons. So, can a teacher? Let's talk about pension. Can a teacher actually estimate what their pension income is going to be by themselves?
Absolutely. You know, depending on the state that you're in, you know, like I take Virginia, for example, because I live there. They have the Virginia retirement system. You can always get a statement, and, you know, the statements are usually pretty crystal clear. They'll say, you know, if you teach up until 2055, which like isn't a real year, right? Because that's just so far away. But if you teach until 2055, this is what you're going to be making from your pension. If you're maybe been teaching for 30 years and maybe you started with an older plan, you've been, you know, started teaching in the 90s or something, you know, those numbers look a little different. And it's always good to contact your pension plan, because there's also reduced benefits if you decide to leave early, or maybe there's certain benefits, some deductions that you might be taken out if you decide to retire early or if you stay longer. So it's always good to just contact your pension plan and get those numbers squared away.
And for most teachers, I'm guessing that you run into this a lot, that a lot of them assume the pension's going to cover most of their income in retirement, but they have other sources of income that you have to maximize in many ways to fill the gap. But talk about what the gap typically is, maybe a range, and how you help teachers fill it.
It's a great question, and I'm going to create the scenario because I think that's sometimes just a little easier. So, for example, I started teaching at 22. I left after a decade, but I started teaching at 22. If I worked my full 30 years, that got me to age 52. Are you retiring at age 52? No, most likely not. So people say they're going to make it to 55 or 57. So then let's say you make it those 30, 35 years. From 57 or 55 to 62, what do you still have to wait for? The basic benefit from Social Security when you're, you know, most eligible for Social Security at 62. And you have to bridge that gap, whether that's using a 403B, you know, that's a different question for another day, and, you know, what the best way to use your 403B is. But there's also different products that can help you supplement your retirement during those years where you still have to pay for your health insurance. You have to pay for your life insurance because you lose it as soon as you leave teaching. So there's that 7-year gap potentially where we're a little lost. That's what I work with.
And so when you talk, you know, teachers on a day-to-day basis, they come in all shapes and sizes, different stages of their careers. When should they start having these conversations? When should they start working with somebody like you?
The real answer is yesterday. But anytime they get this information, if you're planning on retiring sooner, within 2 years of retirement is really when you want to start meeting with somebody about retirement. But obviously, if you're in your 30s or your 20s or even your 40s, it's still important to sit with someone, because during your normal workday, you're not thinking about it. You're thinking about preparing your students for SOLs or Regents exams or whatever, and you want to make sure that you are setting yourself up, no matter what age you are, that when you are ready to retire, that it's actually something you're going to be able to do.
And this sounds like something that, in most cases, a teacher shouldn't really do themselves or can't really do themselves and be as effective as they would be working with you.
Well, let's make something clear. I think most teachers that I come across with and that I've met in my life are very educated people. It's not that they can't. I want to make it very clear. Of course you can, but it's the discussion of whether you should or should not. Is this a burden that you want to weigh here and wait until that retirement? Did I do it right? Did I do it right? Or do you want to consult with someone who's a professional, who understands your pension, who understands your benefits, and etc., and make sure we create the clear map towards retirement. The clear lesson plan that you've been creating for your students allows someone else, maybe like me, to help create the lesson plan for retirement.
Andrew, thank you.
Thank you.
He's Andrew Kerper with Teacher Prep, America's tax and financial specialists, and this is Retirement News Online. Thanks for watching.